I've spoken about a few teams who have made some mistakes this last offseason. The biggest one to highlight, of course, being the Green Bay Packers letting go of Davante Adams and then subsequently not replacing him. Those two combined, those are two of the worst decisions made this offseason together. Like 1-2. Letting him go and then not replacing him. I'm going to look at it as two separate decisions because they already needed to add to the team, add to the receiving core, and they didn't. Those are 1-2 for me. And then right underneath, as you can see by clicking on this video, the Tennessee Titans made a massive, massive mistake letting A.J. Brown go. A.J. Brown, you're going to have to pay him. A.J. Brown was going to get expensive. You're looking between $20 to $23 million for A.J. Brown. I don't remember exactly what the Eagles gave him, but that's what you're looking at for A.J. Brown. The Titans have a roster that a lot of people argue could compete for a Super Bowl. They have in recent years. They were number one seed last year. Not too long ago, they were playing the Chiefs in Arrowhead with the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. This is a team that the last few years has been hanging around and just not quite got enough firepower to get them over the top. So what do they then go and do? Instead of doubling down and going for it, you trade your second best weapon, your best wide receiver. You trade arguably your best player outside Derrick Henry on the team. And then you go bring in a guy in Treylon Burks who we'll see how he ends up. He could end up being a very good wide receiver. But what I do know is he's barely played this year. He came into camp with asthma issues, so he was really at half mast the entire opening camp. He came out of training camp as the wide receiver number 3 behind Robert Woods and Westbrook. He was behind those guys in the pecking order, and now he's hurt. Tennessee now 5-3, falling in Kansas City, and with only 80 yards from their quarterback, made it to overtime against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Patrick Mahomes put up 446 yards. Malik Willis put up 80. He completed 5 passes. Derrick Henry's a tank, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know you're going to get that from him. You know Derrick Henry is going to be Derrick Henry. That's just, we know. You know what you're getting from Derrick Henry. It'd be nice if they could get something too in the passing game. Ryan Tannehill is obviously more built to win right now than Malik Willis. I think overall Malik Willis will be a better quarterback. I think Malik Willis right now looks like Justin Fields did his first season, where he's not trusted to make throws. He doesn't have the guys to make throws to. And that mostly because they traded away their best offensive wide receiver. Almost said weapon. Forgot about Derrick Henry for a second. They let A.J. Brown go. And now they have a quarterback throwing 80 yards. Malik Willis coming from Liberty, he has never seen anything near to what NFL defense can put out against him. He's not used to seeing the slimmest of margins being considered open. He's going to need a lot of time to develop. And I think he eventually will develop because I think his athleticism will get him places for the first few years. We saw him as their second leading rusher, 40 yards. He had half as many rushing yards as passing yards. Most of the time, that would be considered a good thing. This instance, obviously not. 120 total yards from your quarterback. You don't want to live with that. I think he can develop. You know what will help him develop? You know what will help this team even just for the now get closer to a Super Bowl? Wide receiver like A.J. Brown. You had him. You drafted him. You draft these guys high in drafts for a reason because you think they're going to be studs. You think they're going to help your team produce. What'd he do? Become a stud. Help their team produce. Help their team get to the number 1 seed. Help their team get to conference championship games. He did what you draft him highly to do. And instead of paying him, which is the next step in the process, you say, no, we'll just go start the process over with the kid from Arkansas. Good luck to you. And what has A.J. Brown done? He's had more receiving yards than every single wide receiver on the Tennessee Titans this year. And the Tennessee Titans are dead last in receiving yards across the board, just cracked 1,000. So wide receivers, I think, are just over 600. A.J. Brown's just over 700. Tyreek Hill has more receiving yards than everybody on the Tennessee Titans. Everybody from Westbrook to maybe Ryan Tannehill's caught a pass. I don't know. If he has, and he's on that list, Tyreek Hill has more yards than every single one of those guys wearing a Tennessee Titans uniform this season. I don't think that'd be the case if AJ Brown was still there. I think this team would be a lot better off. I think they have a better win-loss record right now than 5-3. I think they'd be even closer to a Super Bowl. But he's not there, so they're not.